Hello everyone. I'm wondering, are we trading off our emotional intelligence to automation? Let me explain what I mean by that rather bizarre statement. When I was younger, in the 70s and 80s, school was pretty much analog. You went to school, you got an assignment, and you opened a book, and you proceeded to explore. We didn't have Google or the internet, and it was a lot of mental labor. And I think there's a benefit to that. I was speaking with someone the other day, and there was an issue, and they really didn't know how to approach it. What was even more astounding was they didn't know anything. They didn't have an inkling on how to deal with it. And to me, it was, okay, you break it down in this way, A, B, C. You look at it this way. If it doesn't work out, you can explore over here. And I suddenly realized I'm used to coming at a problem from various angles, right? If the one that is obvious doesn't work, then I explore other angles. I do what ifs. Well, this poor person, there was no what if training. This was an issue that, although they tried, Google was of no help. And it was really apparent that they were struggling. And I think they were struggling because Google and other search engines and the internet have always been there to give you a little bit of a start. You can type in something and you get results, and you review the results, and you kind of go from there. But the Google and Bing, etc., they give you the start. All right? And the other thing that I think that I gained as a young person was I practiced how to think. I practiced how to process information. And in doing so, the neurons in my mind connected. They got used to being used. And they made connections that exist to this day, for better or worse. But if you're born in the 21st century, then you have all of the beginnings sort of done for you. And I'm wondering if that affects how people's mental, physical states develop. Because they never get a chance to really utilize their mind. They never get to know it. And it's like, wow, that is such a foreign idea to me. But I've seen this a couple of times because I also volunteer in the technology sector, and I deal with students coming out of school, and where I volunteer, we're often their first real work. We're their first practicum. And some students, you can tell pretty quick, okay, they'll be fine. But other students, keep coming back, and they ask you about each step, right? And you can just tell they're not used to. It's not so much about taking initiative. They're not even there yet. They don't know how to process the information. They lack that depth, and I wonder if those parts of the human mind have to be developed early on in life before the cement starts to set, right? And because we all do it, uh, whether we're 20, 15, or 103, once we have a sense of self, whatever that self is, we tend to hold on to it. And if it's broad, if it's got a lot of room in there, then we explore. But if you've always had a search engine to do some of the preliminary work for you, and then you're faced with an issue where you have to think and really start from ground zero, and you don't have the experience, right? Then what does that say about the rest of the personality? Because when you're digging around as a young child in the 70s, much less the 60s, you had to go, okay, I'll try this. It may blow up, it may make a mess, but you put an idea out there, even if you didn't know you were doing it, you were doing it. And if you look at young kids, they do that. But because we're all exposed to an automated system so early on, and that automated system has a structure, right? And because it's still pretty fundamentally limited, if you're exposed to a limited situation, then the chances of you taking on a limited personality or limited humanity is equal because that's what you know. That's sort of the model you're given. And so later in life, when you're faced with something that is new and that is outside of your experience, do you have the tools necessary to dig down and explore that? And of course, this connects straight into emotions as well, because emotions really are what drives the human being, if not a lot of life. You are constantly reacting to emotions. And the more you've used your mind in different ways, the deeper you can explore that. But the current situation with the internet is pretty limited in that regard. And so we might emotionally be stunting ourselves. And this is a real concern. How do we resolve this? And as artificial intelligence is beginning to get into search engines with ChatGPT and the great Google and Microsoft war over who gets it first to the search engine and how much research can it do, it's concerning because now, in a while, in a year or two at most, you will be able to say to a search engine, how did you arrive at that conclusion? And the search engine will say, I did this, I looked at that paper, And so you'll be one more step removed. And when you apply these limitations, when you apply these situations to early human experience, if the machine is doing all the work and the human mind at a young age doesn't get those chances to go down those alleyways and to find out what's in there and to figure out how you made sense of that, or even if you didn't, to at least know that, right? To be aware of what you don't know, and to be aware, okay, I need more info here. I need to ask somebody who knows more, right? Rather than a situation where, well, I never even thought about it, so I won't think about it, which is what I see a lot of people doing. They have not only lesser skills in being human, they have no interest in exploring those avenues. And it's partially understandable because as you get older, you get more set in your ways, regardless of who you are. You do. You may not recognize it, but there'll be some aspect of everyone who you hold on to dearly. Some part of you that is set in stone. And you may have many other situations where you can freely blossom and explore. But somewhere there'll be a part of you that is like, nope, I'm not going there. This is it. This is my reality for this little corner of space, and I'm going to hold on to it. Well, imagine you're someone now, and you've grown up with the internet, with the evolving technology, and you've never explored it. It might be different if you're a technologist and into the technology and the design and the programming. Then that's a different thing. That is flipped because it's the very thing you love to explore. But if you're just a user, right, and everything is sort of given to you, and you never really get to the good parts of the story, to the subtext, there's a good term, the subtext of the information, then what happens when later in life you need to do that and you don't have the skills? You don't have that. And it worries me because you need all that. In order to be fully human, in order to really have fun, and that includes fun, sorrow, and everything, you need that, you need a tool set, right? And you need to know kind of how you made the tools. And I'm concerned now because young ones coming along, they don't seem to have that real depth, that range. And I would love to debate this on my blog more with everyone. Notes in the leftmargin.com. Had to throw a plug in there somewhere. This will be on YouTube, but also the video is going to be part of a short article on my blog. I'm doing the video because I don't feel like writing Encyclopedia Britannica on the blog, something that long. And if you don't know what Encyclopedia Britannica is, there's a good test for you. Explore what that is. See if you can figure out how it started, and why. But yeah, that's the end of my little talk. I will now package this up and post it to YouTube. And everyone have a good day, a good week. It's been a marvelous long weekend over here in British Columbia, and I'm just grooving. So we'll see you all online. My name is Patrick Clark. Feel free to drop me a note off my blog. I read everything, and we'll get back to everyone. If you have a question, a comment, good or bad, let her rip. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.